G'day there. You're watching the Aussie BIM Guru, and today we're going to show you how to create a pull-down button in C# and Revit in our add-in. So in this case, we're going to be setting one up in a similar way to how we set up a push button in a previous lesson. We're going to create some helper methods to make the creation of push button and pull-down button data objects more simple, because we will be doing this in various ways in future lessons, including this one. So it's better that we try to create common utilities that can handle repetitive functions that we are writing multiple times potentially otherwise. So we're going to be building upon the toolbar. So if you don't have one of your own, you're probably going to want to go and get one off of my GitHub. But in this case, hopefully you are following along. And if you are, I hope you're enjoying it. So recapping names and terminology and definitions. So in this case, we're familiar with tabs and panels, ribbons. But in this case, instead of a push button, we're looking at a pull down button. So this is effectively a button when you click on it that will expand into a list of further push buttons. And the reason why this is a really good tool to use is it obviously saves a lot of space on your toolbar. It avoids putting heaps of buttons in the user's face straight away. And it helps you group common buttons together by common functionality. And this is how I like to build my toolbars. So we're firstly going to need to create some push button and pull down data creation methods. So you'll see what I mean in a sec with that. And from there, we're going to create a method to create a pull down button and extend our ribbon panel with this. So we're going to use extension classes like we did in our last video, and then finally add some push buttons to it. In this case, I've also set up some icons already. So if you don't have any icons for these, you will have to set these up somewhere during the tutorial. But in this case, I'll be skipping that step. So we're going to be using, in this case, the PulldownButtonData and the PulldownButton classes. These are new classes, but it's important to understand these almost act exactly the same as push buttons and PushButtonData. So the way that we dealt with creating a push button is not going to be too different to how we deal with creating a pull-down button. So let's very quickly just have a look at maybe the Revit API just for these. So in this case, we're dealing with ribbon panel primarily and adding items to the ribbon panel. And previously we looked at adding PushButtonData as an item to create a push button. And you may recall that there were various properties we used, like the image and the large image for the icon, the name, text, and tooltip for the behind the scenes name, the surface button name, and the tooltip that is associated with it. And we also built some methods we can use to quickly create icons and create tooltips without having to spend heaps of time writing them in the actual code itself. So we're going to be, in this case, instead using the PulldownButtonData class, which effectively is the same in principle. The same properties, same creation method. We're going to use the same naming systems as well. And this will ultimately create a pull-down button object. And to this, we can add push buttons. So this will allow us to create a push button on a pull-down specifically. So that's effectively what we're going to be doing. So we're going to do the demo now. In this case, we'll create some static utility methods on our ribbon utilities class first. From there, we're going to modify our push button method to use these. And then we're finally going to start creating our pull down button methods as well. We're also going to create a new extension class, the pull down button extension class, so that we can add a push button to a pull down using an extension method. And finally, we're going to implement these in our OnStartup method. So I'm just going to jump straight into our project in Visual Studio. In this case, you'll recall before we have a tab, we have a panel, and to that panel, we can add push buttons. So I'm just going to jump into this add push button method. And in this case, we have a pretty repetitive segment if we ever need to do this again. This whole segment of our code, actually including the base name, could be built into its own utility so that if we ever need to add a push button to something else, we don't have to go and create the push button data using this full block of code. We can take this block of code and turn it into a method. So in this case, that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm actually just going to steal this entire method here. I'm actually going to steal the region as well, because we're going to start a new region. And I'm going to go over, in this case, to my ribbon utilities. And I'm just going to add a section above resource management and call this button data. Now at the moment, this isn't quite right. We don't want it to be an extension method. We don't need to extend an object. Instead, we need to create a push button data object. So in this case, I will just call this new push button data. We don't need the panel anymore, and we'll just say create push button data object, and then PushButtonData object is the return type. So we've very quickly transformed our function. We're no longer checking for a panel, that's not necessary. And anywhere we reference grib or the Ribbon utilities, we don't need to because we're actually in the same namespace as it right now. We don't have to add, in this case, to the panel. We just have to instead create a PushButtonData object. So in this case, we'll create the object and we'll just say, set the values. And in this case, I'm taking my PushButtonData and setting its tooltip, image and large image instead. I can now get rid of the grib reference, that's not necessary. And we've effectively just instead modified the behavior of our function, and then we just return our PushButtonData object. So what I can do now is take this new method, new PushButtonData, and I'll go back to, in this case, my button creation on the ribbon panel. And we can really simplify this right down. So in this case, I don't need my base name anymore. And for PushButtonData, I'm instead going to be calling on grib, which is the alias I gave to my ribbon utilities up here. And in this case, I'm going to make a new PushButtonData. In this case, we can see it wants a button name. So I'm going to pass the button name from the arguments and the class name. And now I no longer need to do any of this. I just return the push button if it worked. So I can actually set the properties of the button in its own data object instead of doing it to the object itself if it's created, which is a much easier to understand approach in code, I think. As well as this, we also need to just in advance go and create a new method to also create a PulldownButtonData object. So I'm just going to change a few things. So this is pulldown, and I'll just change my reference. We're still calling on a class name and a button name. Remember, in the case of a pulldown, the technique that I recommend using in terms of how we're going to reference the pulldown later is it's going to be the command class, or the class that holds all of the commands together. It itself represents a pulldown. So that's how we'll treat it. But effectively, we're doing almost the same thing. We'll just rename this. So I'm just going to right click on this and rename it so that we can refactor it in all locations that it occurs. And I'm now instead creating PulldownButtonData object. Now I've got an error because all a pulldown button needs is a name on the surface and a name behind the scenes, because it itself doesn't actually represent a command. It's just a button. So I only need, in this case, the base name and the button name. I don't actually need my class name. My class name is used to generate my base name, but in this case, that's all I need for a pulldown button. Everything else is exactly the same. And we've got a method now for PulldownButtonData, which we'll use when we're actually creating our PulldownButton creation. So in this case, that's pretty much it for that step. What's next? So in this case, we need to actually make a method to create a pulldown button on the ribbon itself, which, as we saw, is very similar to creating a push button. So I might just instead change push buttons to button creation. And I'm going to add an extra method, and I'm just going to borrow the push button creation method because it's going to be very similar. So again, instead of push button, we're going to create a pull down button, and I'm just going to change the name to add pull down button. That will all be the same. In this case, I'll just fix that typo, and we'll attempt to create a pull down button on a ribbon panel, and we will return a pull down button. So again, we can say could not create if we can't create it, if there's no panel. In this case, we now want to make our push button data. So I'm just going to change this variable name so it's easier to understand. Again, we're going to make new push button data to new pull down button data. So that's that new method we just created. And now we need to verify that instead of being a push button, we now need to say, is it a pull down button, which effectively represents that it worked and the pull down button was created. And finally, we just create it and we return the pull down button. So it's almost the same setup as our push button creation. At this point, we would have a pull down button. So let's just go back to our, actually we'll do our implementation last. We don't have to go back to our startup class yet. So now that we have a pull down, we need to add push buttons to this pull down, and we can use the PushButtonData approach that we just generated before to do this a little bit more easily. So I'm going to add a new extension class. So in this case, I'm going to make sure it's a class, and I'm going to say PulldownButton_ext. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hijack my entire ribbon panel class as a starting point. I'm going to get rid of my add pulldown button method because we don't need to add a pulldown button to a pulldown button. I'm also, while I'm here, going to fix a few things. So extensions, correct. In this case, I want to call this a public static class. I want this to be called PulldownButton_ext. And in this case, we're going to create a push button instead of a pulldown button. So panel is actually going to be called pulldown button. And I'll just say the button, to add the button to. The button name and the class name will still be the same thing, and we'll still return a push button. We can now have an extension method called add push button to, in this case, instead a pull down button. So in this case, we can see this is still specifying a ribbon panel, which we don't want. We want this to be a pull down button. So now we're extending the pull down button class. We can, in this case, maybe say could not add button name to pull down. So it's more obvious if this does fail that our debug is reporting back on a pull down error. And we need our push button data. That's still the same. In this case, we don't want to add item. So because we're dealing with a pull down button, I'm just going to check if there's an add push button method. And sure enough, there's the add push button method. And to that, we want to pass, in this case, the push button data. So you can see now we're using this method in two places. We're saving some time. We then go through the same routine. Did we create a push button? If so, return it. Otherwise, report an error. So again, I'll just say could not add button name to pull down. So at this point, we have an extended method on the ribbon panel and also on the pull down button to add a push button. Now in this case, I've also got some icons and tooltips that I need to set up in this case. So what I'm going to do is go, and I actually need to create a command class for this too. So I'm going to add a new class. And in this case, I'm just going to give this a particular name. So I've already set up some icons in 32 and 16-bit resolution. So the name of the commands class, so the one that holds the commands together, I'm going to call pulldown with a capital D. From there, the commands themselves will be called 1button, 2button, and 3button. So remember, in this case, my naming convention is I get rid of the CMDS underscore and I get rid of the CMD, and I end up with the name of the command group underscore the name of the command, followed by the resolution of the icon. And my methods I've created handle this all for me. I've just got to get the naming right. So let's actually create these. So I'm going to make a class, and in this case, I'm just going to call this CMDS pulldown with a capital D and not a capital L. And I'm just going to hijack, in this case, probably a command and add this, in this case, instead of the internal class here. It's important as well to note that the namespace needs to be correct. So in this case, my namespace is CMDS underscore general. I need to make this CMDS underscore pulldown. It should match my folder. So namespace is actually how this command gets accessed, not the folder itself. The folder is just a representation for my convenience of how I arrange my project. So now that I've done that, and I've got a command class, let's say that this is going to be called button1. So I'll just say button1 is working. And in this case, instead of CMD test, I'm going to call this 1button. I then, in this case, need two extra commands to associate two other push buttons. And again, you guessed it, I'm going to call it 2button, and button 2 is working, and 3button, and button 3 is working. So I now have commands I can connect to these push buttons when I create them. But as well as this, I also need to add my icons and my tooltips. So in this case, I'm going to go to my tooltips file. And I'm firstly going to create one for pull down and say this is a pull down. Or a pull down button. I'm then going to create one for pull down underscore 1 button and 2 button and 3 button. So it can find these tooltips. This is button 1. the pull down button. And you've guessed it, button 2, button 3, just so I can tell the difference between them. I also need to add my icons, so I'll just add some existing items, in this case to the 16 by 16 pixel icons first. So I'll just add all of them. Note in this case, you do need an icon for your pull down as well, not just your push buttons. And then I'm just going to go to my 32 by 32 pixel. So at this point, we have all the infrastructure we need to support this. Now we just need to actually update our startup method. So if I go back to my application class, in this case, I'm going to add a pull down button to panel. So I'm going to say var, and I'll say pull down test. So assigning this, and I'm going to say panel general, which is the ribbon panel that we've just created before. And I'm going to add a pull down button. In this case, I'm going to call it pull down. Actually, I'll just say this is called, I'll call it pull down. And in this case, we need to reference the command class. So we go guru, then we go to the namespace, cmds underscore pull down. And then we don't specify a command. That's really important. So we're just referencing that actual group of the namespace, not the command in the namespace itself. I'll then add buttons to pull down. So in this case, I'm going to take my pull down test. And in this case, I'm going to add a push button. And this is where we specify the full command class. So I'll say button1 is the name of the button I'd like to see. And then guru.cmds underscore pull down. And then we also add the command name. So command one button. And then it's just as simple as taking this piece of code, copying it twice, modifying the numbers, and that should be it. So I think I haven't made any errors. There's an easy way to find out though, of course, and that is to just hit play and debug. So I'm just going to boot up in Revit 2023, and assuming this works, we should now see not only a push button on our toolbar, we should also now see a pull down button, and also 3 push buttons that are contained in that pull down itself. So fingers crossed, this just works. So how we go? Okay, so we're going to go always load, always load. I've got a couple of add-ins that I'm working on there. But assuming this all works, we should now just see 3 push buttons. Come on, Revit, you can do it. Okay, here we go. So if I just boot up a new model, let's have a look. So we can see our tab has been created. Guru is sitting there, which is good. So nothing's went horribly wrong. And we can see we have our push button from before, but now we also have our pull down with its tooltip. And lo and behold, we have button 1 with its tooltip, 2 and 3. And if I run them, we can see they're working. So we now have 3 commands available in the space of 1. In the next tutorial, we'll actually look at how you can put 3 pull downs in the space of 1 as well, using what's called a stack, which looks a little bit more like this, where you can stack your pull downs, but still achieve a pull down menu. So you can see we're starting to save a bit of real estate on our toolbar, which allows us to be more economical with space, but also jam more good stuff into our toolbar without taking up too much space and making the user frustrated. So that's effectively it. So pretty fun little tutorial. I think I enjoyed that. Hopefully you did too. If you're keen to learn more or just see how I implement these types of resources, feel free to check out my finished toolbar, GWiz, which we're progressively building this toolbar towards. Thanks for watching. If you did like what you saw, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and let other people know about the series. And you can either drop me a comment below if you have any questions, or reach me at the email on screen. And I look forward to seeing you in future similar videos. Thanks. Take care. Bye.